the final run. Welcome to Newsmakers. I'm Lisa Allegas. 2024 will mark the final year for the Freeman Joplin Memorial Run. As the run ends this year, the banners that often pave the way for runners and representing the lives lost in the 2011 tornado will be distributed to family members or significant others. We begin our discussion about the Memorial Run itself with the run founder and president of Active Lifestyle Events, Audie Dennis, and race MC, Bob Brown. Gentlemen, thank you both for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Audie, take us back 13 years ago when you conceived of the first Memorial Run. What was the initial goal of that run?
The initial goal of the run was to remember the 161 individuals that lost their lives in the tornado, and I and the committee met to figure out how to best do that. My aunt had actually lost her life in the Oklahoma City bombing back in, I believe, 1995, and so I had ran the Oklahoma City Marathon in her honor. And so when this happened, it just seemed like a natural for us to do something similar, and hence we rebranded the run to the Joplin Memorial Run and implemented the banners. How
did it change over the years? You know, I mean, you kind of, it became a sort of something unto itself, you know, and the Active Lifestyles events got created. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it really did. It became a very much community-owned event. That's something the community has taken great pride in through the years, and of course that event itself, the tornado, was such a traumatic experience for the entire city, and the recovery process and everything, that it means a lot to this city. The banners mean a lot to this city. The run has changed through the years. I mean, early on, you know, we were right splat dab in the middle of rebuilding, and as time went on and we slowly rebuilt, our focus changed a little bit from the rebuilding, but it never changed from the remembrance. Our tagline is Run, Remember, Rebuild, and while the rebuilding may be mostly complete, the running and the remembering, you know, still very much a part of it.
You bet. Bob, so you have become the MC. Tell us how you got so involved.
With the tornado, I was very active in 2011 in the recovery with my vocation. Then the committee started, and so I wanted to be on the committee. So I started on the committee from day one. And then transpired into, we lost our announcer for the races, and they needed somebody, so I raised my hand, and I've been announcing for the last 10 years now for them.
So you ran in the race too, though, right?
Yes, I did the half marathons and a 5K in it previous 3 years while on the committee, but then of course announcing. Yeah. I still run a half marathon.
Wow.
At the finish line.
And why was that important to you? Why did you want to run?
You know, that incident was one of the top 10 national natural devastations in America, actually. Again, in the insurance world, we were very active in Joplin. And you know, we have 161 angels that we always have to remember. And that's why, for the 161, really.
Yeah. So this is the final run. Let's talk about the different options, because you talked about half marathon, but it isn't really just one kind of race. So Audie, tell us about the different options for people to run and walk.
Yeah, we have races for all levels of runners, starting with the Kids Fun Run that I believe is a half-mile long, and then the next level is the 5K, and then the 10K, and then the half marathon. And of course, the night before, that Friday evening, May 17th, we'll be having the Walk of Remembrance, when we invite the community to come out and join us and walk through the banners and memorialize the 161.
Over the years, this has raised money, and you've supported other organizations and various charities, more than $350,000 raised. I remember a number of check presentations. Tell us about those and how you've helped other organizations through this effort.
Well, gosh, you know, early on, we didn't, there were so many needs, we didn't know where to turn. So we did some things like Bright Futures as they were doing the public schools were working to recover. We did the United Way, and that money went out. We also did a contribution to rebuild Joplin. We actually funded 2 homes to be rebuilt for tornado victims. So there are 2 of the families that have homes today because of the run. And then through the years, we have done everything from a new roof for the new stained glass theater. We did a playground for the Ozark Center for Autism that had to be rebuilt because of the tornado, and so it's just been a wide variety of projects. We've also been able to do some grants in the community. The Active Lifestyle Events mission, which is the board that oversees the run, is to promote health and fitness within the community, and so we've given a variety of grants to organizations like the YMCA, One Joplin, Joplin Trails Coalition, and the list goes on and on to support a healthy, active community.
How does it feel to make your mark on such a big part of our community? I mean, this run really has now touched all aspects of Joplin.
Well, you know, in the beginning, we had no idea that it would grow to become what it did, and we just truly wanted to find a way to remember those that were lost. I mean, the run itself in 2011 had to be canceled because of the tornado. The tornado happened about 2 weeks before the run, and instead we did a day of service, and we had over 400 members, not only of this community, but from Ohio and across the United States, come in, and we did a day of service going out doing debris cleanup, sorting donations, and it just kind of transformed from there. But you know, that was a very meaningful thing. Runner's World magazine named us one of their 2011 Heroes of Running because of our reaction and spinning on a dime, so to speak, you know, at the last minute to still hold an event. We actually, I don't know if you recall, but we had a finish line set up still, and we bussed volunteers out, and at the end of the day we bussed them back, and they came across, and the medals that were to go to the runners originally went to the volunteers that day.
That's awesome. So what brought you to the decision to make this the final run?
It was a variety of things. Nationally, it's not just us, but nationally running events are down about 15% over previous years, and I think that will eventually come back, but it hasn't thus far. And that, combined with rising expenses, it's become more and more expensive for everything, including putting on the event. And then I think volunteer fatigue. It takes a couple of hundred volunteers to put on this event, and some of these people, like Bob and others, have been doing this since the original event, and you know, and so we just felt like it was time. We wanted to go out on a high note. You know, kind of like the athlete that wants to retire on top. We wanted to go out on top, and so that was some of the factors that went into our thoughts.
So let's talk a little bit about, at some point you did organize active lifestyle events. How did that happen, and how will its mission continue?
So we felt like we needed a 501c3 for all these funds to go through, and if we were going to be able to turn around and give back to the community, which is what we wanted to do, we needed to have that 501c3 status. So we immediately, once we decided that we were rebranding the run to the Joplin Memorial Run, we started that process, got our 529c3, and then active lifestyle events will continue on for the foreseeable future. We've still got proceeds from the run that we will use to fund grants from various area organizations, again, that promote health and fitness. So,
Bob, tell us, what are some of your favorite memories? Give me a story.
Since we're talking about the banners, I'll give you a real quick one. I was talking to a volunteer. She was getting the shirts ready at the expo the day before. It's when we had moved to Cunningham Park from Memorial Hall. And we were talking, and she goes, I said, oh, the banner's behind, and she goes, yeah, my son passed away that day. And she goes, so when I get done here, I've got to be careful here. I've got to go look for his banner. And I said, oh, really? What was his name? And she told me his name. The wind shifted, and his banner appeared right behind her.
Wow.
So those are just some of the emotional things, and I get emotional on this event. But just that was absolutely magic. Mm-hmm. And at the Walk of Silence, where the community does walk through the banners, the last one that we had on Joplin Street, I read the 161 names as it began, and a lady come and thanked me for that. Mm-hmm. She lost her son. And her statement was, everybody talks about my son, or, sorry to hear about your loss, but they don't say my son's name. Mm. I got to hear my son's name. So those are really special right here. Yeah. And then, of course, the race and the events, and everybody's so excited to do it, and even to finish it, and the happy smiles. Right. And it's just a fantastic festival the day, once we've remembered.
All right, well, we're going to take a brief break, and we'll be back. Yeah. When we come back, we're going to talk about the memorial banners some more that were an emotional reminder of why the run started in the first place and the effort to return them to family members. But first, information on how you can register to be part of the final Freeman Joplin Memorial Run. Welcome back to Newsmakers, where we are talking about the final Freeman Joplin Memorial Run and the banners that each year honor the lives lost in the May 22, 2011 tornado. Those banners will be returned to loved ones at the end of this year's run. Joining us to talk about the impact of those banners are Mark and Trish Norton, parents of Will Norton, a Joplin High School graduate who was taken that fateful day. Mark and Trish, as a parent, I can't imagine the loss you suffered, so my condolences. Please accept those. Over the years, what has the run and these banners meant to you? Mark?
Well, I think it's, the memories are always there, and I think it's just a way to remember those that were lost, and it's, it's not something you want to see your child's name on, of course, but I think it just reminds people of the people that we've lost, and it's a nice way to honor them.
What did you feel about that honor?
It just brings about an awareness of how many people actually lost their lives. When you're talking to people about the storm, the tornado, they think a few people, they don't understand the scope. And then when you see all those banners lining the streets, you're like, this is awesome to see your son's name up there and be remembered and recognized. It
is an impact of the devastation, the vast expanse of it.
Yes.
So Will is remembered in other ways. Let's talk about some of those things as well.
Some good things.
The Miracle Field.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, the Will Norton Miracle Field here in the sports complex is amazing. We got over 200 disabled players this year, which is terrific. It's a large number, and they play games on Saturdays in the springs, and a lot of it started as youth only, and now adults play as well.
They graduate. They started in the youth program. It's been going so long. They go into the adult league now.
The theme is every child deserves a chance to play baseball, and it goes with adults too, of course. Yeah. And it's just a great time to. You see some good that came out of the bad, right? Mm-hmm. And it's heartwarming.
Why was that significant to Will? Why was that a good way to remember him, you guys?
Yeah, he was just such a giving person, and he participated in a lot of Rotary events, which is one of the major sponsors, of course, and he would the Rotary Youth Leadership Awards down in Tahlequah. He went down as a participant and later as a leader down there, and he would, I had the fortune of watching him amongst those kids, and when he'd see a child that maybe wasn't participating or was standing by themselves, he was the one that would go out and grab them and introduce himself to them, and so he was all about others and giving everybody a chance to be the best person they can be, and I think it fits his personality.
Yeah, it reflects it.
Yeah.
Wow.
He had actually created a number of videos and was part of our media showcase here at Missouri Southern. What were some of his interests that just talk to us about your son?
Yeah, he was kind of crazy, just silly, and would get on there and do YouTube videos. And I remember one time I was talking on the phone to one of my friends, and I go, I don't know what Will does on there, but everybody's watching him because it was just fun to watch, just vivacious. And
He was back in the early days of YouTube, and he was one of the original partners of YouTube, and they reached out to Will and gave him youtube.com/Will, and it still stands today. So they have, a vast number of people on YouTube, and to have a 4-letter name is on that. It's pretty cool. So he loved it, and he was getting ready to go to a Dodge School of Film out in Southern California, and he was excited about that career. So he was all into that.
He was a little ahead of his time. He was
maybe,
on the cutting edge.
Yeah.
Maybe he was a funny kid. And he liked everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the Memorial Run coordinators want the banners to find permanent homes. Tell us what it means to you to be able to keep that, to take that with you.
I'm excited to have it. I've loved displaying it all these years, but now it kind of feels like it's mine to take it home with me.
Bring it home, exactly. Yeah.
I don't know what we'll do with it once we have it, but put it out in our backyard, maybe,
We'll give it a good home.
It just, it means a lot.
Yeah.
It means a lot to us.
What would you say to other folks who may not even be aware that these are available? I mean, do you think they should take advantage of this opportunity? They might regret not getting that banner later?
To me, it's maybe a bit of closure. Maybe we've done this run, and it's been a great run, and people have participated, but now take your banner home and remember your loved one.
You mentioned the last run. How did it make you feel? I mean, you're going to participate this time.
Yes.
How did it make you feel when they said it was going to be the last run?
Well, when I read the little blurb that said that it was time, that the people were exhausted from putting it on, and I felt that in my heart, and I thought, maybe it's time for this just to be over. Maybe the run its course.
Yeah.
So you guys are going to take part. Tell us what you're going to do and why you wanted to be in the race this year.
Well, I had to talk him into it.
Yeah, she ran the first one, right?
Yeah, I ran the first one. I did a half marathon, the first one.
Wow.
So, but I couldn't do that this time, so I was going to do a 10K, and then I settled on the 5K. And that's where Mark and I'll run it together.
I'm just supporting Trish, so.
And I have a niece that'll run the half marathon, and several friends and stuff. So it'll feel good that day. It'll feel bittersweet, but it's still good to see his name up there.
Yeah. So, well, thank you so much for sharing about
You're
Will
welcome.
and the run of the banners. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, Audie Dennis returns with Stephen Benfield to talk more about running in memory of a loved one and details about registering to receive the memorial banners. We'll be back.
For 12 years during the Freeman Joplin Memorial Run, Tall Banners have paid tribute to the 161 victims of the 2011 Joplin tornado. It's time for those memorial banners to find their permanent home. On May 18th, after the final memorial run, banners will be distributed to the families of those lost. Distribution will take place at 11:30 at the Joplin Memorial Run sculpture at the Cornell Arts Complex. To request your loved one's banner, go to joplinmemorialrun.com/banners.
Welcome back to Newsmakers, where we're discussing the final Freeman Joplin Memorial Run and the gifting of the memorial banners. Joining our conversation again is Audie Dennis, the founder of the run, and Stephen Benfield, a repeat run participant. Stephen, thanks for joining our conversation.
Thanks for having me.
So you've been a part of the Memorial Run for a number of times. Tell us why.
Well, one, just to be a part of like race day environment is fun. Like I love the environment, I love the atmosphere. But this one's a little special, a little more meaning behind it to kind of honor those who were lost, and so it's just a little more emotional. So race days in general, people are nice, everybody's having a good time, but this one it's just a different environment, and it's kind of fun.
And is there someone you honor in particular?
Yes, actually my grandmother had passed away after the tornado, and when I saw that they were doing the banners every year, whether I participated or not, I want to go out and get a picture in front of it or of it. And my uncle also, who was very, very close to my grandmother, when he heard that the banners were going to be given away, like I called him, hey, do you know about this? And he was already on it. So we were really excited about that.
Yeah. Do you have any special memories of certain races? I mean, is it kind of an experience that has a profound impact when you're running in a race like this?
Well, what I remember every year is whether you're going out or coming back, when you're going through those banners, oh my gosh, just to see the number is very emotional. I mean, it's just kind of the adrenaline's pumping and you're just like, man, this has a lot of meaning. So I remember that every year. There's little things, you know, I'm mad at myself because my time wasn't as good or my buddy beat me or that kind of stuff. But man, when you look at the overall picture, man, it's a really cool race.
Yeah. Are you planning to get the banner of your grandmother, or you and your uncle?
I'm going to let him have it. They were very, very close. I was his best friend. And so he was the first person I thought of when I heard of this. And he was, like I said, he was already on it. So he deserves it for sure.
Yeah. So Audie, tell us, how are the banners then being claimed, and what is the process for someone who says, oh, I know that individual? Because in some cases there may not be family, but is it family first typically?
Yes, we have a priority list that we're using. So it starts out with spouse. Spouse gets first priority, then children, then parents, then siblings, and on from there.
And so how do people go about doing this? Do they contact you online? Do they have a form to fill out?
So they just need to go to joplinmemorialrun.com/banners, and they'll be taken to a form that they just fill out. Just takes a minute or two, and that form will automatically populate into a spreadsheet that we're tabulating to keep track of everybody that is wanting to claim a family member or significant other's banner.
How many have been claimed so far?
We have 82 requests as of this morning. Some of those are duplicates, more than one person claiming another person's banners. So as I just alluded to, we'll have tough decisions to make there. But fortunately, we've created those parameters so we can treat everybody fairly and consistently.
But that means a number of them have not been spoken for at this point. And so you really you want the word to get out to tell people.
Absolutely. It was very hard because there are no longer any records with mailing addresses or contact information for any of those families. So just through media, shows such as this, print media, things like that, we're trying to get the word out to as many people as we can. And we've had some people that have contacted us, and they are living out of the area, but someone that is still here, a friend or another family member, let them know about it, and they were able to get their name on the list. I mean, we would love to have all 161 banners find a home.
Yeah. I mean, you certainly don't want to, we really need to spread the word, everyone, because we don't want to, like, a month from now have someone say, oh, I didn't know.
Exactly.
And they want it. And I mean, there really isn't a place to keep storing them. Is that part of the problem?
We haven't had that conversation yet. We do have a storage unit, but at some point we will have to make a really hard decision there. So my guess is we will continue to store them for a while to see if anyone else comes forward. But at some point, that won't be very practical. So we're hoping to just give all 161 away that May 18th.
And so there is going to be a special ceremony. So let's talk about that. It's a special ceremony to give away these banners after the race. Tell us about what's planned. Sure.
At 11:30 a.m. on May the 18th, the kids' run will be complete. People will hopefully stick around for some of that, but the festivities will officially be over, and we're inviting the family members that have claimed a banner to come in at 11:30 come to the 8th and Joplin, where the 17-foot sculpture is that we've constructed in memory of those, and we will then we won't have time to gather the banners and get them sorted and packaged and all brought in. So what we will do is we will have golf carts available, we will have volunteers, and as people claim their family member's banner, we will escort them out to the banner, help them take it down, and get it stored properly in the bag and everything.
Tell us about that memorial that is there. This is on the property of the Cornell complex, correct?
That's correct. Yes, they were gracious enough to allow us to put it there. That was for years the start-finish line for the run, and so we wanted to kind of go back to our roots this year by going back to that, and we also we felt that was an appropriate place for the memorial banner, not only because it was the start-finish line for the Joplin Memorial Run, but as you know, the Memorial Hall was a triage center in the immediate aftermath of the tornadoes, so very important historically for us. So we constructed a 17-foot all stainless steel banner that has special lighting, and it's got all 161 names displayed. Very, very well done, designed by one of our local sculptors, Jorge Leva, and did a great job, and we had several great companies partner with us on it, and yeah, if you haven't been by to look at it, you need to check it out.
Yeah, it sounds really nice. Steve, what does it mean to you when, I mean, you talked a little about the banners, that the importance of remembering these folks and the lives lost, and was it hard for you to learn that this was going to be the last year?
Yeah, well, hard for a lot of people, but I mean, I kind of understand. It's been a long time, and you know, people cope in different ways, and so maybe it's time. I don't know. It's still a little sad, but how cool is it that we have a sculpture that's going to be there for a long time to honor that? And I don't know. I'm really proud of this organization. Just, you know, walk of silence, and I think there were balloon releases at one point, and there's just a lot of things to go into honoring those who we lost. And so how cool is that we have our local organization to put that together, and something for us who have lost to go out and see that people do care, and it's kind of nice to be a part of that.
I hear registration is running well. Are you going to have to cap it at some point?
Yes, we are. We are encouraging people that still have not registered and need to do it ASAP, because we are, you know, we have to order a lot of the medals and shirts and things like that well in advance, and we've already bumped our order a couple of times. Great problem to have,
yeah.
But we are to the point now that we can't bump it anymore, and so we are going to have to close the events at a certain point, and we are very close to that.
And Steve, are you running in this last one?
Yes, only the 5K. That's about as far as I can go these days. But
Did you used to run the farther?
well, I've done a half marathon once, and just knowing that I was halfway done with a full marathon, I decided I would never have that goal. But 5K is good for me. Yes.
Yeah. And then will your family be part of coming to see this one?
Yes, absolutely. They want to get out there and be a part of this. I imagine that a lot of people in the community, whether they're running or not, they're going to be there to support it and be there being the final one.
And remind us of the March 17th, the walk.
Yeah, the Walk of Remembrance is the evening of the 17th. And I believe it's at 6:30, but I would certainly go to the website to verify that. But that will be starting down at the start-finish line, or where that sculpture is, which I failed to mention, but the sculpture is shaped as one of the flags. So we felt like that's really the iconic you know, thing about this event has been the flags through the years. So,
yeah.
But it'll take place right there.
Very meaningful. Well, I'm sure it will be a very emotional event for all the families involved. Thank you for telling us all about it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We hope you will take part in the final Freeman Joplin Memorial Run and the Walk of Remembrance in some way. I'm Lisa Allegas. Thanks to our guests, and thank you for watching Newsmakers.